All right, everybody, welcome in and welcome back for the 2021 season to the Jump to Start Racing podcast. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends. Ruben, say hello.
What's going on, guys?
Yhancy, how are you?
Hi.
Yhancy is very anti-social today, but guys, thank you for joining us. Yeah, took a lot of work to set up, but guys, thank you for joining us. We're back. We're live in studio, ready to just talk about the 2021 season. So today, what we will be talking about is just a quick little intro for us, some of the news, and we'll go through some of the car launches and also preview some of the teams, half of the field essentially, going into this coming season, the back half of the field, including Ferrari. But, yeah. Guys, I want to make sure...
I can see the hate is going to continue this season.
It never really left. Yeah. So, guys, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware to follow us on, obviously, podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Stitcher, and Tune In. And then you'll also be able to find us on Twitter at Jump to Start F1 and on Instagram at Jump to Start F1 as well. You should be able to see us on our screen right there.
What were those the platforms?
Oh, perfect.
Again?
It came back up. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Radio, TuneIn, and Stitcher at Jump to Start F1 and on YouTube as well, which I forgot to mention, Jump to Start Racing Podcast. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that, smash the like button.
Did you practice that on the off season?
No, actually, I didn't.
Remember, they're able to see us now on YouTube.
I know. I'm a little nervous. But guys, let's jump into... Actually, yeah. Able to see us. Hi, guys.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. And then some other new things will be coming up. We'll address them throughout the show. Obviously, the YouTube thing is big for us. And then we'll be doing just a couple little different things going forward. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about some news. So where we left off, Checo had just signed. Our last episode was like towards the new year. Since then, we've had Lewis Hamilton agree to his 1-year deal. The last driver, I didn't know if anybody would actually take him, but he's
Yep.
the last driver to signed with Mercedes, obviously, for a 1-year deal. Yhancy, do you want to elaborate on what exactly happened there?
I don't know. It took forever to get it done, and everybody was nervous thinking that he actually wasn't going to sign, or that's what it seemed like it on social media. But we all know that was what was going to happen there.
Did we?
Yeah, come on, bro. Are you a 7-time world champion to come back with the best team on the grid to break the record?
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you think he was actually going to do it?
Yeah, do you think he wasn't going to sign with Mercedes? That seat was his. But, it seemed like it took a long time. We're not clear on why it took a while. But it was only a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
That's weird.
You're mad about that?
Yeah.
Why?
He might be gone next year. He might retire. Who knows? Remember, it's tough. Wouldn't you want a 8-time, champion on your team for multiple years?
Well,
maybe chill for 10?
I don't know. For me, the question
titles.
is, does the 8-time world champion want to be on the team for more than a year? He was the one that said, if you guys read the articles, he was the one that said that he wanted to keep it short term for now, is what he said.
One thing that I have noticed when it comes to these superstar drivers when they're in their prime.
Like me, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got a 1-year deal with us. You drove a hard bargain for us, man. But we had to have you back. We had to have you back on the team.
We needed you.
These superstar drivers are superstar athletes, I should say, that are in their prime tend to take 1-year deals. For a lot of money, obviously.
No, I know. To weigh the options. I know.
To weigh the options for the flexibilities.
No, because if you look at like in the NFL, right, it's called the franchise tag. So what that is that these guys, they'll sign up, or the team will lock them up for the year in a basically a prove it year. We don't want to sign you long term. We don't want to commit that money long term.
But the NFL's a little bit different because they don't have any guaranteed contracts. But look at Jordan. Jordan did the same thing. And Jordan was one of the first athletes to make When the last
Well,
year with
LeBron
the Bulls,
been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah,
I mean,
one-
he's signed a multi-year
Yeah.
now, but
yeah,
before.
but with Cleveland it was 1 year deals, and then and then Jordan with the Bulls was 1 year $30 million back in those days in '96, which was
That's
insane.
guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Okay, but what if? Well, whatever. He's not gonna get. Well, hopefully he doesn't get hurt in the car. But like that's kind of like the thing in the NFL.
So
Franchise
could that
thing.
be the purpose of him only signing 1 year because we're in the process of the salary cap now?
Well, it seems to me. This is pure speculation. It seems like he didn't get everything that he wanted in his negotiations with Mercedes. So he signed a 1 year deal to see what they're willing to give up forward. Obviously, you give them more time; they have more time to think about it. Now it's on the table that he wants. There were so many rumors that he wanted part ownership, or he wanted to
Extra treats for Roscoe, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. Those are important, man. You got to keep the driver happy, especially a superstar driver like Lewis Hamilton.
So how come him and Toto don't have the same story? Because Toto said that because he got COVID, that put in pause the negotiations. So they signed him for 1 year.
Well, they
So-
both got COVID.
No, I know, but in that aspect, we're talking about the Lewis contract because the negotiation had to stop because at that time they got COVID or Lewis got COVID, so they had to stop the negotiation.
Yeah, because
so
they wanted
signed-
to meet in Bahrain at first. Yeah.
So they signed for 1 year to iron out everything that was on the. But Lewis at no time is saying that. You know, if they were,
No,
it was,
I think that
like they're both
the-
saying different stories. That's why I say that.
Toto's explanation was this: is that obviously they were going to meet in Bahrain to hash it out before the year ended. And at that time he was already the champion.
And then just Russell.
Yeah,
blew the head out.
And when they also got to see Russell in that car, which was one of the best drives of all season last season. So then obviously Lewis got COVID, so they couldn't talk about that. Then everybody went home and they couldn't get back into the factory because of the whole COVID rules. And then Toto got COVID. And then obviously it's harder for you to hash out a negotiation when everything is through Zoom. And that's the reason that they gave. I don't know how good of a, I mean, they seem like they have a good relationship, but I don't know if it's a very good relationship. So then everything just dragged out until what? Maybe a month ago. In February. And he wound up signing a 1 year deal, and he said it's just he wanted flexibility. And I'm pretty sure flexibility meant that, yeah, he wants that option to sign a multi-year contract or just a 1 year contract going forward. But I also think it's just flexibility and to see what is Mercedes willing to give him. At this point, he holds, he can hold them at can hold a Mercedes at gunpoint if he wanted to, and ask for many things, and let's see what they want.
I don't know. I think that like
He's about to be it seems very likely that he's about to be an 8-time world champion. He can ask for whatever he wants.
It would be nice if I just thought of something else right now on the fly. Could it be that he saw those Ineos negotiation and the total negotiations for more stake in the ownership, and that's what pushed him to maybe, it wasn't true. Nobody said it was true, but of him asking that aspect, having a little bit of ownership of the team.
Well, it has to
because
be
the ownership of the team just changed over the season as well. Ineos became like 30-something%. Total also became 30-something, and Daimler is like 30-something. So he's like, hey,
I think
give me 5% or whatever.
I think at some point they had to, again, speculation. They had to bring in Ineos because remember who also had ownership stake in that team was Niki Lauda.
Gotcha.
So you don't know what the inner workings are. As of right now, that team has 3 owners: Ineos, Mercedes, and Toto Wolff.
And not us.
And Ruben's the silent partner. So we agree, 1 year deal. He's going to, no matter what, if he wants to, he will have a seat, right? Next year.
Yeah, of course. Come on. Who wouldn't sign him?
You know what I was
Haas will
thinking? You know what I was thinking is he's always been a Mercedes engine driver, right?
Right.
What if Aston Martin makes a play? I don't know.
Or if the rumors that have persisted throughout his career, what if he wants to go to Ferrari?
That would be crazy.
But it's a rumor that's been in the news forever now.
Yeah.
Would be crazy, yeah. It would, but
no, we also need to say that because of.
But if you're gonna go, if you're gonna sign with Aston Martin, what's the point? It's the same Mercedes car.
A year older. So
clearly the better one is the Mercedes Works.
Who has the older one? Does Aston Martin has the order, or McLaren will have the older car now?
No, that's
McLaren does their own.
Dude, if you look at did you see the launch photos of the Aston Martin car? It looks just like the Mercedes last year.
Racing
Mercedes.
Point is still
Racing Point still in their blood.
Yeah, I don't know.
Aston Martin Racing Point.
So, one of the other things that had recently come up, much more recently actually, is the planned engine freeze for the let's call it the power units has been moved up to 2022. That kind of almost certainly means that the next generation engine will be brought forward from 2026 as well.
It'll be brought up a year to 2025. That's what
the speculation.
Yeah, that's a speculation.
Yeah. So, what does that mean for the field in general, Yhancy?
What does it mean? The reason why this was even brought up in the first place was obviously COVID, but the main proponent of this change was Red Bull, and now what they're calling Red Bull Powertrain. Mm-hmm. That's the new division where now Red Bull does not have to go anywhere else to get their engines or any of the current suppliers. They will keep the intellectual property of Honda, the Honda IP for the current engine. So this is the last year that they're going to be able to develop the current breed of engines. And obviously the plan change was to change the engine or the engine formula for 2026. It looks like they're going to bring it back, bring it a year forward to 2025. So the engines that we wind up at the end of this year are the engines that we will be using up until 2025.
Up until the new
engine.
spec.
Yeah, the new engine formula. Just like next year, they're going to be changing the formula for the chassis and everything that you can do with it. They're going to be doing that to the engines.
So pretty much just giving Red Bull,
which is what happened in 2014 when they went to the V6 hybrid engine.
So it's giving Red Bull like a 3-year learning period of the new one.
Well, the reason why they're doing it is because Red Bull doesn't have the resources to develop the engine. Mm-hmm. So if everybody if you put an engine freeze, that's the engine that you have. So the only area of
so they could concentrate on the new one.
No, well, I don't know what Red Bull's gonna do after that.
Gotcha.
But at least they don't have to worry about an arms race with Ferrari, Renault, and Mercedes.
When people that are doing engines.
Yeah, we're doing engines because it's gonna fall. It's gonna.
But are they still in partnership with the Mugen aspect of Honda or no?
I don't know how that worked out, to be honest. I don't think they went into details. All I know is that they're literally they're building a separate arm in their factory in Milton Keynes.
Gotcha.
Just to work on that engine, which essentially makes them a works team now, which is what they always wanted. That was the issue before with Renault, because they had to depend on their engine manufacturer in order for them to build the car. Which that could potentially bring a Red Bull back up to the top, man.
Well, they're not afraid to spend money. So if you're going to take money for them to come to the top, they'll invest the money they have.
And they want to win. I mean, at the end of the day, the Red Bull F1 team is a marketing arm, just like what Ferrari is to the. I got my obsession with arms today. It's the Ferrari. The only advertising Ferrari has for its road cars is F1.
Yes,
and then the advertising that mostly Red Bull has for its energy drink and everything else is obviously all the extreme sports, including F1. But F1 has the biggest budget because obviously this is the biggest sport that they're involved in, and they spend a lot of money doing it.
Oh yeah, and they're involved in everything.
Mm-hmm. Red Bull's marketing is insane.
Yeah,
you gotta admire that, man.
Gives you wings, brother.
Yeah, I want to go see one of those air shows that they have here.
I want to do like the soapbox derbies that they do. That you build a little car and then you go down the little. You never seen it?
Nope.
All I know is that Ruben will
Red
be
Bull
there.
Flugtag or whatever.
Ruben will be there. He'll T-bone you. You'll go into the corner. That's his MO for you.
All right, and lastly, as far as kind of the news that we're going to be talking about here before the car launches, potential changes coming up for next season regarding I guess the weekend format, or actually coming up, and then it's really a test for 2022. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But from what I'm seeing and from what I've read, it'll be 3 races or 3 race weekends will be picked as trials. So Montreal, Monza, and Interlagos will be the trials for
changing the weekend format.
Yeah, which I'm kind of down for, to be honest with you, because we've been to races and the Friday it's like, do we really want to go? And then it gets exciting at the second half of the Saturday, which is the qualifying, and then Sunday is where it's good too, obviously.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hold on. Even in attendance, you could see that. Like, for example, when you go to the Friday practice, the actual circuit is
empty.
Oh, yeah. When we go,
like a quarter of the people that show up for Saturday.
Nobody's watching the practice.
Exactly.
Really in the stands. I mean, we'll glue
they are fun to go to on Friday as well, because you do all the activities they have there.
Right. Exactly. No, because nobody's there.
Exactly.
You get to figure out.
and there's almost no lines. Just gave people like an insight thing.
So the question that I ask both of you guys is this. What is the reason why we would want to change the qualifying format?
To bring in more money. That's the reason that they would want to change it.
As a fan, though, forget about
as a
not
fan?
them. I'm talking about you as a fan. Forget about them. They're gonna make money anyways. Can they make more money? Yeah, but I'm talking about as a fan. What would be the main reason?
The main reason is to make it more unpredictable.
Okay. Yours? Same thing, Ruben?
I never even. I'll take it however it comes. Because remember, like, for example, we live in New York, so we don't have nothing nearby. The nearest one we have is Montreal. So we go there, and we actually, because we only go for the weekend, we rarely do anything in the city, because the bulk of the day is focused on F1. So if they give us something to glue us more, good for me.
So remember that the original proposal is what you said, the unpredictable. We wanted to make it a little bit more unpredictable. So when the concept of reverse grid is brought up, that's a like straight up no from everyone, because they don't want somebody to win the championship on a whim. It's not the best team, because you're basically flipping the order down, and then obviously with these generation of cars, you can't really pass as good as you can, et cetera, especially if you're up at the top of the grid, in front of the grid. So the weekend format is this. Friday, you'll have one practice session. Then the second session would be qualifying, as it is right now.
On Friday.
Whoever wins qualifying, or whatever the qualifying result is, will be the grid for a sprint race.
On Saturday.
Sprint race on Saturday. Only the top 8 teams score points, and it's looking like, obviously, this is something that's going to be decided before the season if they're going to do this or trial it. They haven't made a decision yet. So you have the top 8 teams will score points, and it's going to be about half the points of the current, what they currently get at Grand Prix Sunday. Boom. The finishing results of that race will set the grid for the Grand Prix where you score main points. Now, do you think that would add more unpredictability, or is it going to be more of the same?
It's going to be more of the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of the same.
That's my point.
It's stupid.
That's my point. So
more of the same.
That's my point. So now, what are the pros of this format? It's literally just for commercial reasons for F1. Right. You get more of a crowd.
Right.
You get more TV.
On a Friday, yep.
But is it going to really... the reason why we as fans want to change the format is to introduce more unpredictability. And that's not going to do it.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. We're just going to see more points for the top guys once again, and it's just going to
flying away with more.
The only time you'll see maybe some unpredictability if you have a first lap incident in the sprint race and things go awry. But after that...
Definitely not.
Tell me, if Mercedes is at the top of the grid, they're always going to qualify up in the front. They're going to win the sprint races, and they're going to win the Grand Prix. It's going to be the same thing. And all you got, and obviously you have, and the worst teams are going to even fall even more behind.
Yeah,
because they don't get a chance to score any points. And it's only the top 8 that score points, not top 10. Top 8 in the sprint race.
So it's just stupid.
Williams and Haas, they're not going to score much more.
As opposed to what F2 has done, which makes it a little bit more because it's been proven that it's super hard to win the sprint race and the Grand Prix. But what happens in F2 is that you have the feature race on Saturday, then you have a reverse grid of the top 8 and do a sprint race on Sunday. But the main piece has to be the Grand Prix, so you can't reverse it. And they don't want to do a reverse order because the teams will say no.
Right. Because at the end of the day, what you're really struggling with is the fact that you have the teams at the top that are the teams that spend the most money. They have the most to win. They have the most to lose. So they're not going to ever agree to, like Ferrari's never going to agree to reverse. Mercedes never going to agree to reverse. Whoever else is at the top, Aston, whatever, they're never going to agree to it. So it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I think you have to add some kind of a different thing. Or you can, listen, I love it's Formula E. I know it's not something that's very exciting to most people.
It was good last time.
But
last week.
And the other idea would be to add Formula E does this. They have basically a 1-lap shootout. So you get they split it in groups, right? So and it goes in reverse championship order, right? So the top teams go last. You go in groups. You get 3 laps: warm up lap, qualifying lap, cool down lap. Boom. But the caveat to this is, as you have track evolution, those that have the advantage are the ones that are in last place, so they have a chance to qualify higher if they want to. I think that'll be dope. And if we get, a 1-lap shootout where you can just go balls out, softest tires, engine all the way up, that'll be super exciting.
So pretty much let them have again those what is it called?
They've done it before.
The tricks on the qualifying modes.
Yeah,
let them have qualifying mode.
Party mode.
They've done something similar to that in F1 before in qualifying. But again, I don't think that obviously us as fans, we'll be glued to the TV on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday even more. We'll have some action, but is it going to really change the order of a race or even the results at the end of the season? Negative, bro. That's not going to happen.
Negative.
Unless the 2022 rule changes.
We'll see.
Bring the field in closer.
It's aerogenic. Whatever. I don't know. It's not gonna. To me, it's just not gonna happen. So, I wanted to talk about the car launches. What did you guys think? I didn't get to see all of the spectacle. Let's call it that, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, we've seen all the cars. We've posted on all the cars. Make sure to check out our social media, Instagram, Twitter @JumpsToStart_F1. What did you guys think? Ruben, I'll go to you first. What did you think was your favorite car?
As far as looks?
As far as looks, yeah.
Mercedes was very good.
Okay. You don't seem too like enthusiastic about it. Mercedes, I guess.
No. I'm waiting. I want to hear you the way you guys are going to attack me for liking.
Well, yeah, because if you say it like that, yeah.
For liking the Williams.
The Williams one I actually quite liked. I'm going to bring it up on the screen real quick. You could be able to see it on the corner if you're watching on YouTube. The Williams one I actually quite liked, and the reason for it is that it kind of went back to the colors of like the old ones.
Yes.
Like if you remember, I think it's 1991. Like you see 92. Like I think that in our Throwback Thursday, maybe we'll post some, but it brings back like some of the colors of it, and it's also like a bold take. I stole your thunder. What did you like about it specifically?
No, it's that. It's pretty much it brings like nostalgia into the colors. Obviously, I even made a joke saying that, hey, if we put the papaya in the front, it looks like a McLaren. but it's just missing what they've been missing for the last couple of years of sponsors. Like,
yeah, money.
Empty.
Well, that's what happens when you're not good. Look at McLaren.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But we saw that with McLaren a couple of years ago, where their car was almost empty, and now it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So it's just a part of the restructure of the team that the sponsors go through and stuff like that. But I think the car looked awesome. I did not like the Haas.
I don't think anybody.
You guys are crazy. That car.
That was your favorite one?
Ugly.
That
Williams car is just ugh.
Which one did you like, Yhancy?
The best one?
Don't say Ferrari.
We know what Ferrari's going to be. It's going to be red.
We haven't even seen it, bro.
But it's going to be red.
Red, white, and black.
Yes.
The best one, Alpine, whatever.
Alpine? By far.
Alpine.
Bring
I
it up in
think
the bottom
that
right.
one is the most beautiful livery
Yeah.
that came up.
Yeah.
That
I mean, the
Williams,
shots they share of that car.
listen,
Yeah, for sure. You're like, oh my God.
that Williams is disgusting. Ugh.
So one thing about the Alpine is Sean Bull Designs. He had been floating around.
Dude,
and
yeah.
By floating around, I mean he'd been posting his work on social media for a long time, and he did a phenomenal. He was hired by Renault back when it was Renault, and he just did a phenomenal job on this car.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful. That's a beautiful livery. Aston Martin is beautiful too,
So
just
that's
because
what
it
I was
has
gonna say.
it has a real classic look to it. The Aston Martin, and then
So what green is that?
That's
Olive
British
green?
no
It's
British
supposed-
racing green.
I don't think it's exactly it. It's
It's not,
supposed
no.
to be.
Yeah, it's
British
supposed to be.
racing green, but
But-
it wasn't.
It's going back to the Italian colors were. I mean, the Italian always raced under the red. British, and this is old school when Grand Prix racing started. Obviously, the Germans, the silver arrows, they raced with silver cars. The British always had the British racing green, and the Americans were white, I believe.
So that was gonna be mine. The Aston Martin, dude. It just looks like a classic. Like
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
it's just
car.
such a beautiful
And
car.
then,
Like
and then I was wondering how they were going
I
to.
thought it was my turn.
Jesus, sorry. I'll shut up. But the pink looks
No,
nice
no,
on
go
it
ahead.
too,
I'm
man.
sorry.
The way they added the pink was real classy too. It's a beautiful car. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was.
But,
You
you know,
said
when
everything I had to
when
say.
Yancy said that about the pink, I
feeling some kind of
started
way,
looking
though?
for the pink. I'm like, what is he talking about pink? Where's the pink?
What's your least favorite, Ruben? I think we're all gonna
Haas.
have all the same least favorite. I mean, look at this freaking thing. If you're watching on YouTube, number one, hit smash the like button and hit subscribe. But you'll be able to see at the bottom right corner just the Haas.
And they're being investigated too.
Dude,
The Russian mobile,
Yeah.
the Russian.
an American car with a Russian flag.
So how about this? Eurocali or Eurocali, whatever, however you say it. I'm not all that familiar, but it's sanctioned in the U.S. Like, how is this possible that the U.S. car, the U.S. based car, supposedly, has a prime sponsor that is sanctioned and not allowed to do business with the U.S. Like, I just don't understand this.
No, I remember also because of I think it's Olympics and stuff like that, the dope. Whatever,
doping.
the doping
Yeah,
case.
the World Anti-Doping
Yes,
Association.
they're not allowed to.
They're not
use
allowed to have the Russian flag at
anything.
all.
They're
in
not
any
being
sports.
investigating because of that. They're investigated because of that livery. And those aren't even the corporate colors for your Alkaline.
Yeah, it looks more like a Castro.
Is that a
like,
battery? Jens?
Huh?
Is that the battery?
alcohol.
Alkaline?
Your Alkaline.
I don't know.
Is that like the chlorine on the water?
I don't know. By the way, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to Alfa Romeo, who also looks. It's not like the busiest look like Williams or like Mercedes, but the car itself looks freaking beautiful.
I like the way they switched up the color scheme.
Yeah, just like AlphaTauri did.
Yeah, and it looks nice though. I mean, those cars are classic look, but I mean, to me, the Alpine one wins
By far.
by far.
By far.
We'll see how the Ferrari looks though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be super red. No, maybe matte red. There you go.
Mad red.
No shine. That's what I'm saying. Like, even remember, Rebel was the first one to come out with the matte, and I'm guessing they did it for weight reduction, so they don't have to paint it. I guess bright, but no team followed that trend.
Right.
Because remember, it's some of those things that sometimes come to your plate. The way the silver arrows came about was because the car was like a couple of pounds overweight or a couple of kilos overweight, and it was supposed to be silver and white. Mm-hmm. And the guy
It was supposed to be just white.
There you go. I'm sorry.
And
And they took the paint out.
They
and just
stripped the
left stainless
paint
steel.
off. Yeah. But something that Red Bull and Ferrari are doing, instead of putting a clear coat, they'll just leave the matte on there.
Exactly.
I don't know.
But did Ferrari do it last year, Yancy? I don't remember.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, they
They've
left
been
the
doing
matte
it
as well.
The past 2 years, yeah. They'll probably do it again this year.
What about merch? What did you guys think of the merch that was recently released?
I got that hat,
Which hat?
the McLaren hat. I'm sorry, I got the
There was a lot of hats released.
no, I got the McLaren Mexico hat. I guess party mode Mexico, whatever.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't wear it today, to be honest with you.
No, next time I wear it.
Next time. All right, so
That had to go good with
I hate
anything
hats,
you wear.
you know.
It's super colorful,
It was-
bro.
I hate hats.
no, you don't. Come on. I know you two always wear hats, actually.
In the sun, of course.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. So one thing that I did want to talk about is the schedule coming up for the season. So it's brought up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. We're gonna have the Bahrain Grand Prix here at the end of March. Then it's a freaking 3-week delay until the next race. We're all gonna go crazy. That's partly because China was postponed. From there, it was announced this week that Portugal will be the follow-up race, and then Spain to follow, etc. So I don't know what to say about the schedule other than it's a schedule.
I think it's going to keep changing.
The opening, yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, but
I don't think so. I think they have had enough time to plan for any contingencies.
Yeah, so you're not glad Portimao's back?
Yeah, Portimao's
I'm happy
third
Portimao's
race.
back. Portimao's
Yeah, we had a great race last time. Maybe we don't get a lot of the... Well, what made that race good was that it rained and it was a brand new tarmac. It was very slippery, so it was hard for the drivers to drive. I don't know if it's going to be the same way now, but it was a fun race. It was good.
Can we just get rid of Spain? I'm looking at all the tracks I don't like. Spain, Russia. Just get them out of here.
Yeah, Russia sucks. You like Monaco?
I love Monaco.
Me too.
Same here. But it's not a good race.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yhancy,
But it's just like the glitz and glamour.
You have to go, Yhancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also going to be seeing Zandvoort is back on the calendar this year. No more Vietnam
For now.
for now.
I actually wanted to see that race, that Vietnam race. Track layout looks interesting. It's a weird looking track, but it looks interesting.
So, nothing else really to talk about schedule-wise. It's just kind of is what it is. And obviously, I'm still not happy about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but that's a topic for another day before I go crazy.
But wait. Was
You're going to have to deal with that for the next few years. I think it's like the next 10 years that they signed.
What do you think of the article that came out? Something about a missile attack or something during the Formula E race and stuff like that?
Yeah, they intercepted a missile during that.
Jeez.
I don't know whatever.
So imagine Formula One that's even bigger. Some crap like that happening. Are you kidding me, man?
I don't know, man.
I don't even want to think about it because
We won't notice until it,
until somebody tells us after the fact.
That's what happened with the Formula E race.
Jeez.
That's so crazy. But hey, listen.
How much money are these people paying for these things to happen? For the races to come, where the tension is so high in this country.
Well, they pay a lot of money because they want more. They want more clout on the international
on Instagram.
scene. Yeah, so people can go and travel there. Isn't that the name of the game nowadays?
Yeah, it's all about clout.
Yeah.
Testing is looking to get started next week. This weekend, actually.
Only 3 days this week.
Yeah.
This year.
So it'll be in Bahrain, which is actually a power track. It's the typical setup, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anything really to look forward to? I'm interested in seeing a couple of things, actually. Number one, where Ferrari is going to be. They said that they've improved their power unit they've gotten back some of the gains that they lost last year.
They said they got most of it back.
Most of it. So my only concern is, okay, they got most of it back, right? Is that going to trickle down to Alfa Romeo and to Haas, do we think?
I hope so.
Yeah, because the biggest problem with those teams was the engine. They're not great teams aerodynamically, but they were up there when they had a good engine. I mean, at least they were fighting for points. Not every race, but every odd race they were fighting for points. Last season they couldn't even get out of the last 15.
Yeah.
So I think that'll trickle down. That'll help for sure. We'll see. I don't see Ferrari because they didn't get a chance to change. Obviously, because there was a development freeze. So I don't see Ferrari moving up to like the top 3 again like they were before, but they'll be at the top of the midfield, especially you have 2 young drivers.
What do you think?
No, I'm actually want to see pretty much the amount of laps the new guys in this team take. Say, for example, especially Checo. I would like Checo to take a bunch of laps because I want him to settle in that car to show, hey, I deserve to be here. Like I was, we all know he does, but show the public, be there next to Max, not be an Albon on that car.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he won't be.
Right. So there's the Ferrari story. There's the story of all the new teammates, how close they're going to be to their
Lando and Ricardo.
Lando, Ricardo, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, like where Sebastian Vettel with Lance Stroll.
Yep. Yeah, but we know how that's going to be. Stroll's not going to be anyway.
That to me is one of the
If
stories.
Stroll does good, you should save that as a drop.
Oh my god! So we won't save it as a drop. So
Well, the Stroll sucks.
yeah.
My bad.
No, just the comparison. Actually, when we get to the teams, remind me to talk about something. Actually, let me just talk about it now. So I've been doing. You guys are familiar. If you guys are baseball fans, right? You're familiar with the sabermetrics, right? With the statistical analysis of some of the teams, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that because the word I was like, what?
Saber? What?
Sabermetrics, yeah.
Huh?
So
Sabretooth?
So one of the things that I wanted to introduce this year is kind of like a little bit more statistical analysis because like team to team wise, I feel like the points aren't good enough to identify what it is that we're seeing. I feel like there needs to be a better way. So one of the things that I'm working on teammate wise is what I'll call a rival score, which I'm going back 5 years in each person's history, adding up all the points, kind of identifying their teammate, how they competed against their team throughout the year. I'm not taking out DNS because at the end of the day, if I'm driving a Mercedes and you're driving a Mercedes, we're both on the same team, right? So one of the things that came out that was really interesting, right, is that two of the leaders, right? So it's from 1 to 100, from 0 to 100, the score. The higher, the better you are. So like Lewis Hamilton has it's approximately like 75 rival score, right? Compared to Bottas, who over the course of his career has just gotten beat up. He's at like, I think 28. So two guys that are at the top.
Big difference.
Two guys at the top, near 100. This is going to sound really fucking interesting. Excuse my French there. Two guys at the top, 95 and 96. Carlos Sainz, 95. Charles Leclerc, 96. That they've just wrecked their rivals. They've just been able to overperform. So remember that Carlos Sainz had Daniel Kvyat. He had, for a time, he had like a bunch of guys that were not that good. But then he had Lando Norris, who he routinely beat.
So
He had Nico Hulkenberg.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
you
sure.
once again.
We'll explain more of it in my methodology.
Lewis Hamilton has a less of a rival score because
Understand that I went back 5 years.
okay,
Who did he race against 5 years ago?
Nico
Rosberg. Right. So that kind of balances him out a little bit, right?
Okay.
So I'm not done with my full analysis. I'm kind of still tweaking it, but as of right now, two of the highest guys. I'm going to be real interested to see what happens at Ferrari
With
this
Carlos
year.
Sainz and Leclerc.
I hope they don't hold him back. You know, Charles is fast and you let him through. You know, things like that.
That's gonna happen.
Come on, dude.
I think that I'm going to be upfront. I think that Leclerc is just a better talent. So we'll see if Carlos Sainz is able to.
That's interesting though. That rival score.
Yeah. Well,
Where'd you get that one?
I figured it out, dude.
My bad. Damn.
Sabermetrics.
Yeah. So
Well, that's the word, Yhancy.
Sabermetrics.
in the coming weeks, we'll obviously we'll be talking about testing next week, but maybe we'll kind of work it in as we talk about some of the teams. I haven't fully finished all the teams because it was a busy week, but
Jeez, Wells.
I know.
When do you rest, man?
I don't. So there's that. There's like I want to see if Mercedes continues to be far enough ahead of everybody else. Does Aston Martin, where do they place as far as the testing goes? McLaren, where I feel like there will be a lot of stories that come out of the testing that will kind of lay out the rest of the season and how that's going to go.
And the sandbagging. Like, who's not showing their true colors. Remember, even in the car launches, they were covering parts of the car. So, like, if I sell Mercedes and Red Bull, they were covering part of their floors. So people won't see what they have. You know, it's still... I think so, a lot of times with all this that's been happening lately in the last couple of years, at least that because we've been more focused on F1 this last couple of years, is that it's a mind game as well.
Yeah.
It's like a game of hide and seek sometimes.
Yeah.
I never played it.
You were too busy coming up with rival scores.
Yeah. With stats. Statistical
What's the word?
analysis.
Sabermetrics.
Sabermetrics.
Sabertooth.
Baseball. Yeah. Man, I regret nerding out to you guys.
No. Yo,
I wanted
that
that's
analogy right now.
good.
That thing that you spoke about. I'm still like, what the hell did you just came? Like, what do you?
Well, I just feel
know. Like you said, worked on it, whatever. I was like,
right. So I just feel like there's a lot of times, and I'm going to have like a weighted driver score and a weighted team score, right? There's a lot of times where the driver at the end of the season is held back by the team. We remember Daniel Ricciardo in, 2018 or 19? Damn, I don't even remember. I think it was 2018. His car just kept screwing him up. He was
his
first year with Renault. You talking about?
No, last year with Red Bull.
Last year with Red Bull.
That was 2018.
So he would have had a better overall finish if not for the team. So.
And that was the same thing with Verstappen in 2017.
Exactly. So what I would like to do is kind of eliminate some of those inconsistencies as shown by the team and be able to put up a real expectation, right, of where the driver is supposed to be. Conversely, I'd like to also take the expectation of where the team is supposed to be if you take out the driver. So that will help us answer some questions of, at the end of the year, right, was Hamilton the best driver? Was Verstappen actually the best driver? He was just not in the best car.
Right.
So it's just
which was a question that we were asking ourselves last season because both Verstappen and Hamilton had awesome years,
right?
But we couldn't really differentiate who was having a better year.
Exactly. And was Bottas that bad, really, etc. Based on the rival score, Bottas does not match up with his teammates all that well. Yeah. But granted, he's facing off against Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Yhancy, you know how Wells is, right? You remember the Matrix when when they're looking at the screen, all you see is like the letterings going side to side and dropping down. That's how Wellington's spreadsheet looks on the.
Send your kids to engineering school, people.
1-0.
Yeah. All right. So
the color is what? I mean, the question is, what color are the ones and the zeros?
Green. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Super green
or turquoise, Mercedes.
That's teal, no? That's Patronus. All right, so let's move on. Let's kind of not wrap up, but like move on to the last segment here, where we're going to kind of preview some of the teams going into 2021. We're going to do it from, I guess, backward, reverse finish position from 2020. So our first team that's up, Williams. What? Ruben, that's your favorite team, so I want to understand what you think Williams is going to be doing this year. What can we expect from Williams this year?
More of a rebuilding process. That's what we've been doing. They're still going to be hurt. This probably that's still going to be all the way in the back, but it's, I guess, pretty much they're at that peak of being in the back. They're going to start now going over the hump to, because everything has to rebuild to be able to climb up. So I think because...
But they're at the peak. They can't climb up anymore.
Meaning the peak of being in the bottom. They can't go further down.
So they're in the valley. Is what
there you go. Yeah, probably something like that. Whatever. So pretty much they're
you can't be at a peak and be bad, bro.
They're at the peak of the worst. They're at the peak of being the worst. And from here, just they can't go nowhere else but up. Obviously, let's hope that delivery helps them get out of the funk.
That livery is disgusting, bro. If they race like their livery looks, they're gonna be back in last place, bro.
Tomato potato.
That is an ugly ass. I don't know how you guys like that. Is disgusting.
I don't know. I just like that it's a callback with the colors.
I think once
this was like a razor went through the paint, man.
Yeah. I think once they keep up, they start keeping, they keep going with the restructuring. They're going to get the restructure of the team. They're going to get a couple of more sponsors where they're going to have a couple of more money to spend around.
Yeah.
And it's going to work towards their development under the new ownership. Remember, I think I read an interview with Juan Pablo Montoya is that a lot of also their technology being used in the car is old. They were making a lot of stuff in-house.
Yeah.
When it comes to the transmission or all of that stuff. So they're going to have to. So they're
going to become more like a Haas, like a customer team that's going to take parts from, not that it's working out for Haas, but that they're going to take out parts from
Mercedes.
It worked.
Yeah.
They already announced that they were going to do that. They were going to take certain parts.
So that's only going to make them
Mercedes
get better at the timings. And
okay,
I don't think Williams is going to be last this year.
Who do you think is going to be last?
Haas, dude.
Haas,
so
for sure.
There is value to drivers getting experience. So now George Russell obviously has more experience. Nicholas Latifi has more experience, and we know George Russell as Mr. Saturday to be able to outqualify, the Haas's and the Alfa Romeos, etc.
If they change the format, it won't be Mr. Saturday anymore.
No, he won't. He won't. But damn it. What needs to happen? What needs to happen for Williams to be able to score some points?
Saturday, Russell's performance on Saturday has to show up on Sunday as well.
For me, I think that because Ferrari is going to be better, it's going to be a problem for them.
Exactly.
But they showed last season that they got closer to the back of the midfield.
To me, so they got closer to being the worst.
Well, exactly. So that means that so instead of finishing 10th, they'll finish 9th.
Oh no! Wait, 9.5. 9.5.
They're at the peak. Yeah. You see, they're at the peak, and they're gonna go. They're gonna get better by going down.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win the last place battle. Their car is getting better, and the only reason I say that is that we know that Haas hasn't done anything to improve. They gave up on this year. It doesn't matter.
Well, we'll talk
they
about
put a
that,
Russian flag on there, and they're not doing anything. So for that only reason, Williams will move up one place. They'll finish 9th.
I don't know. I think that George is whatever. He's going to drive the crap out of that car, but the car's not going to have much
all the
more
way to
to
9th
give.
place.
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh my God! All right, so Haas.
All the way to 10th place, baby.
What do you guys want to talk about with regards to the Haas Alcalá F1 team?
That team looks like it's about to be bought out by Papa Mazepin.
Yes. It's going to be Mazepin F1 next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they are like, all right, see you guys later.
I'm out. They don't have any sponsors on that team, and we didn't even know that they were.
They have Richard Mille.
Oh, come on, seriously?
Is Richard Mille?
No, he sponsors.
They don't
every
even
team.
have every team. Exactly, and now with
sponsor.
Ferrari, they only have 2 sponsors. No, 3. No, 2. Your Alkaline and 1-on-1.
1-on-1. That's right. That's the other one.
That's the only. That's the only. They have that and maybe Putin because the Russian flag's on.
And Haas himself.
So
and Haas
all right,
that's the team.
Let's take one step back, right? So Mick Schumacher, unfortunately, is involved in this whole thing. What do we expect to see out of him in his rookie year, like true rookie year?
I don't expect much from Mick Schumacher. Traditionally,
he'll be out driving Mazepin.
Yeah.
It's possible, yeah. But traditionally, he's one of those drivers that it takes him a year to get to speed. I think...
No pun intended, right?
So, let's look at his history. F3. He was in a year in F3. He struggled. Next year, he won the championship. He was in... and then he moved up to F2. 1 year in F2. Struggled. Next season, won the championship. Yeah. So obviously he's not going to win the championship second year. If he does, then he'll forget about it. But that's not going to happen, obviously, and especially if he's driving for Haas or Mazepin F1 in 2022. He will struggle this year, but that means that he's learning. I think we have to wait for him his second year to really gauge how he's going to do.
I agree with that. I think even though Leclerc from the get-go showed good colors, but it was pretty much like that as well.
He was beating up on Marcus Ericsson.
I know.
Like, come on,
bro. Marcus Ericsson was great.
Yep, he's an indie man.
Sarcasm.
We expect this team to be dead last, right?
Yeah, Haas is going to be
even behind. I can't believe it.
What a fall
behind Williams.
Fall.
No,
yes.
I think they're standing between 9th to 10th will depend on how the Ferrari engine performed this year.
Remember that Williams,
I disagree with that.
Even though that Williams is obviously a back marker, Williams is also an experienced team. If you get the right direction, they know how to build.
They usually
the
have the fastest pit stops, etc.
Haas, Haas is more of like a hodgepodge of different things. It's not a real F1 team. You have Dallara building the chassis. You have the Ferrari engine and all their parts. It's not like obviously they got a team to build the car, but it's not like they have much experience building an F1 car.
So you think that if they had a bigger budget, they'll perform better? Because I think maybe because they outsource everything all the way to that point is because they don't want to spend money.
Yeah, obviously. Listen, obviously, if you have a bigger budget, you'll do better. I mean, for the most part. Not saying that you're going to win the championship.
So what do you think is the best part that team has?
What?
Best part?
Yeah.
Experience. What, you talking about Williams?
No, Haas.
They don't have anything that's good, bro.
The Halo.
No.
That team
Dude,
needs, if you're
the manager,
struggling,
what's his name?
Gunther Steiner?
There you go. That's the best thing they have. The fucking wanksters. Oh shit! The wanksters.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Oh, he's a YouTube. I mean, he's a Netflix star.
Netflix sensation.
That'll get you points.
Not performance.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Maybe an Emmy.
So the reason I say that even if they have the Ferrari more powerful engine, etc., that I don't think that they're going to do great because they have 2 rookie drivers. I think that it's Formula One and it takes time to get used to these cars. We've seen experienced drivers go to a different team and it's the same class, and it still took them a long time to get used to their cars. We may see the same thing with Sebastian Vettel, actually, to be 100% fair. We saw Daniel Ricciardo not have a great time his first year in Renault. That car obviously was not that great. Mm-hmm. Who else recently changed?
Well, they get better in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Good driver always come around.
Yeah. Speaking of good drivers coming around, let's talk about Alfa Romeo. Obviously, Kimi and the Bergamo Bullet, Antonio Giovinazzi. Ruben's not paying attention when we say Kimi.
What was that?
Nothing. So
thank you.
For those not able to watch on YouTube, we have like the full drop array here right in front of us, and Ruben's just not.
That was like 20 seconds behind us.
Yeah, thank you, Ruben. So we have Kimi, we have the Bergamo Bullet, Antonio Giovinazzi. The car itself.
Where did you get that nickname? Did you
I
name
made it
him?
up. No, it's I saw it on Twitter and I kind of liked it, so I stuck with it. Okay?
Bergamo
the
Bullet.
Bergamo Bullet. Anyway, he
You should put a bullet on his helmet.
no, he's got the B on it.
Oh,
Okay, so
I like that nickname though.
It's a great
Bullet.
nickname.
I mean, it doesn't really suit him, but he's not that fast.
well, listen, but
Maybe he's the fastest guy in Bergamo.
The team was actually was at times outperforming the other 2 Ferrari-driven engines. At
Yes.
times they were outperforming
Last
them.
season.
And let's not forget, Giovinazzi's a great starter, dude.
He what was it? He had the most overtakes in lap 1
Yep.
throughout the whole year.
For the whole year. I think it was only like one race that he did not overtake somebody in the first lap.
So we have Kimi, we have Giovinazzi, we have the car, which is largely dependent on that power unit. We saw Charles Leclerc really do his thing with Marcus Ericsson as his teammate in, 2018?
Yes.
Yes. He, where do we realistically, if Ferrari's power unit
Comes through.
I think that this team will take the largest step forward if it's like a real thing. But the largest step forward may just be one more place
What you're talking about in the midfield?
in the midfield, in
pretty
the
much
backfield. Yeah,
I think their goal should be to outperform Alfa Tauri.
AlphaTauri.
it.
Yeah, and
then be competitive with Renault.
and nip at the heels
Alpine.
of. No, I don't think they could even get that far. I think nip at the heels of Ferrari itself.
Damn, you think Ferrari's going to be back there still?
No, but I have to will it take a step? Yeah, the biggest step? No. The biggest step is going to be Ferrari.
Okay.
They have the most resources, and they really underperformed last season.
Okay.
Really underperformed. I don't see Ferrari getting back to sixth. Well, they finished seventh.
They finished 6th place.
6th place. Yeah, no, I think
Who are they
Ferrari
gonna be?
finish higher. 4th or 5th, anywhere in between.
So pretty much
Who are they going to beat?
splitting Aston Martin and
And McLaren.
Yeah.
It'll be
so they're going to beat McLaren with the Mercedes.
It's going to be 3 different groups. It's going to be the top 2, and then you're going to have McLaren, Ferrari, and
Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, and
Renault. Well, no, and Aston Martin. And where's Renault going to? This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about it post testing after kind of everybody shakes out. But I don't know. I like the team. I like. You guys already know I like the team. I like. Obviously it's been steady leadership. They've been improving. Obviously last year was a setback because of the engine, but
they had they have some good results, especially when you have Kimi in there. And I make fun of Giovinazzi, but he's actually a decent driver, and he's actually been improving.
He's very consistent.
The last 2 years that he's working. He does get off to slow starts as far as not during the races, but during the beginning of the season, but he comes around at the end of the season. If he can put it all together at the beginning of the season, maybe he might have a better year than Kimi.
I doubt it.
Well, you don't think the Bergamo Bullet will beat the Iceman?
Bergamo Bullet? No, he's not going to beat Kimi.
Okay, so leaves us with the two remaining 7th and 6th place teams. Alfa, Tauri. So you guys already know that I am a fan of Gasly, Pierre Gasly. The great Gasly. He really outperformed last year. He showed another dimension that, frankly, he didn't show when he was with Red Bull. Does he keep it up this year?
Yeah. He wasn't a bad driver to begin with. I think his confidence just took a hit with Red Bull.
Yeah.
But he's already a race winner, podium, and he's the leader of that team. And the minute that he stepped back into that team, even in the middle of 2019, he did
much better.
He took that car and he just ran with it.
Yeah.
He beat Kvyat handily.
I think the culture at AlphaTauri suits him better. And also the pressure of winning is not there. They're looking to win, but not at the level that Red Bull is looking for, especially when Max Verstappen is leaving you in the dust.
So here's the deal. Can Pierre Gasly ever... Because when you get to a top team, you're going to have to deal with that pressure. Can he deal with it?
I mean, there's a lot of rumors floating around that he's going to be going to Renault after the season.
Alpine.
After the season is over. French driver.
Alpine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, could be.
What do we think of Yuki Tsunoda?
He seems quick.
First year.
He got another rookie.
Yeah. Remember, he was only last year was only his first year in
F2.
In F2.
Right.
So, and he did pretty well. I think he finished 3rd.
Right.
Got his super license points. They're high on him.
The Honda engine has been improving.
Yeah.
And is only going to get better if Red Bull could throw much more money at it.
Yeah. Well,
which is next year, I guess. But
this year, Honda is going all out on that engine to improve it as much as they can.
Yeah.
That team looks good. We'll see how Tsunoda plays out, but he's quick. He's always been quick.
The question for me is always, who are they going to beat, right? Are they going to be Ferrari? To improve from 7th to go into the top maybe 5. Are they going to be Ferrari? I don't think so. Are they going to be...
They couldn't even beat him last year.
Right.
Ferrari was down and out.
Right. Are they going to beat Mercedes? No. Red Bull? No. Aston Martin? No.
And you don't think...
McLaren?
And I don't think that Tsunoda is going to be better, at least at first, is not going to be better than Kvyat.
Oh, man. We got to go to Japan to like that race, because that race is going to be insane with Tsunoda there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd is going to go...
Yeah.
Crazy.
And lastly, put the camera on you, Yhancy. Lastly, Ferrari. Last year's 6th place.
Stop Ferrari!
Meme right there, you know? He look like that little kid meme.
He's looking like that meme now. Later on, he's going to look like the guy putting the pasta into the gun to like shoot. Tell us, Yhancy, what should we expect from Ferrari going into next year?
I'm
please, let it not be this
excited, but not really, because you expect them always to fight at the top, but I don't think they can make that big of a jump.
Yeah.
This year, but they will be a lot better. I think they just didn't have time, obviously, with their cheating engine. Because
Whoa!
Because it was clearly a cheating engine.
Yeah.
When they got those regulations, stuck on them, they didn't have time because of the whole COVID situation to regroup and fix the engine. They have been working on this engine even throughout the season last year, and it's all coming to a head now. Obviously, the season is going to start, so that engine will be better. Now, the only thing I think, and then you have Leclerc, obviously, who has been the past 2 years, literally just took hold of that team, took the leadership position, has been leading that team, and you have a very talented driver in Carlos Sainz.
Or that Vettel just kind of gave up?
Vettel gave up because he was so good. Vettel he wrestled. No, because Leclerc was so good.
Nah.
Yeah, of course, man.
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay, fine. You can differentiate, but that is the case. I don't know.
I think he just got burnt out.
But then you have a young kid right next to you who's beating you like a drum.
And now you're being stepped on too. Not just by Leclerc performing, but you're being stepped on by the team because the resources are just. So what am I? Where am I putting my efforts for?
And then you have Carlos Sainz, which is going to be another battle. It's not going to be an easy battle because Carlos Sainz is really good. But I think we all
wants to win.
We all think that Leclerc is quicker, but as a solid driver, Sainz is going to be a driver. I think the problem with Ferrari is going to be the management.
Are they going to get rid of Bernardo?
There's so many rumors going out there that Bernardo might be fired, and we don't know because we haven't seen anything. But it seems like there's a lot of turmoil there, and when you have turmoil in the top of the team, it doesn't translate well to the rest of the team. But are they going to be better? Yes. I'm excited about it, but obviously not too excited because you obviously, as a team like Ferrari, you expect them to be fighting with the Mercedes and the Red Bulls. But obviously they can get the engine. They were able to develop the engine to the point where it needs to be. They were limited on the aero front, even though they have the resources. And I remember we have a budget cap this season.
Yeah.
So don't think that they can get back any aerodynamic gains. And obviously, remember, a lot of these teams at one point during the season, which I think is going to make that latter half of the season better, they're going to have to stop developing this car and start the development of the 2022 car because that is going to be a huge change aerodynamically. But Ferrari will be better this year.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you put them? This is, again, we got to go back to this question. They're not beating Mercedes. They're not beating Red Bull, right? We can kind of agree.
Yes, I think you're fighting for 4th or 5th place in the constructor team.
I say 5th.
Who's 4th?
We'll find out next week.
Yes.
No, but you said that they're fighting for 5th. Who
meaning no? They're not going to beat Aston Martin and McLaren.
Okay.
Aston Martin because come on, Racing Point from last year, and they were punished those points.
Out of those two teams, they more likely can beat McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
Because McLaren, remember, had to change their entire car
to
fit that new Mercedes engine.
I think they're going to have trouble just even beating Alpine, though, so.
I don't know if that Alpine is going to be that good. But then you do have Fernando Alonso.
Right, so
exactly.
this is exactly my point.
Good.
This is exactly my point. So you're going to have Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, correct, right? Mm-hmm. But you're going to be going up against, in the midfield, you're going to be going up against Daniel Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris is no slouch, Sebastian Vettel, obviously Ruben's boy, Lance Stroll.
Yeah, but I also think that Ferrari's the problem with Ferrari's car last year was the rear end. They didn't have a lot of rear end grip.
The what? Too much junk in the trunk?
There you go. And then it's racing, so you got to.
And that's why Vettel couldn't perform.
No, he was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's different driving styles because Leclerc has a driving style where he can,
Wrestle
he can wrestle the car. So he can drive that car and and wrestle it around the corners. That's not Sebastian Vettel's driving style. However, if you do give him a car that's better on the rear end, that has more rear end grip, he can go faster, and so can Sainz.
Okay.
So, Ferrari's in for a better year. Again, the only thing that worries me is the management part. There's a lot of rumors coming out of Maranello. We'll see what happens. We'll see what gets confirmed.
What do you think?
As far as that,
I still think they're going to be 5th, maybe 6th again.
I think
Because we're also talking about teams that are also improving.
so.
Alpine, they did well as Renault last year, and now they're bringing Alonso, so they're going to be even more solid. And now this is also Esteban Ocon second year at the team. He's going to be even more settled in.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about McLaren and Aston Martin, where they were at the end of the last year because of the punishment that Racing Point received. They were fighting a little more. But they have to get through McLaren, regardless of McLaren. Getting like a brand new car. Yeah, they're also getting a Mercedes engine now.
Yeah.
So
and also
I think McLaren and Racing Points are still going to be close.
And the
Ferrari
thing with
cannot get through
Alonso
those
is that I
guys.
think Alonso has to get acclimated to that car. Remember, he hasn't raced in 2 years, as far as F1 is concerned.
But we're talking a lot about Alonso, okay? We're not talking about.
Listen, dude, come on. I love Alonso. But,
We're not talking about Schumacher
you know,
or Sonora, whatever.
yeah, Alonso's a beast. Though,
Yep.
man.
So one thing I want to point out: Charles Leclerc last year 98 points, Sebastian Vettel 33. Just a more competent guy in that car brings them up. It doesn't bring them up enough to make a huge dent because they lost. They were down 50 to 5th place.
It's crazy how we're talking about Sainz being better than Sainz is going to be better than a 4-time world champion.
when your head is just not in the game, that's unfortunately what it is.
Yeah, he gave up.
Yeah. So I don't know. And this is exactly what we talk about with. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Well, whatever. We'll get to that next week, but hopefully we see more of an advancement with some of these guys and on the new teams and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's our and like I said, it's going to be such a good battle between just these two. Please do not give them team orders to start the season. I will be very upset. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc fighting it out is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the good rivalries of the season.
I think if Sainz gets those orders, he should ignore them. And he'll be like, no, I'm out of here in another year, so I am not going to go with them. I want to win, too.
Right, because that's what, didn't they say that they wanted to bring Mick Schumacher in as literally as soon as possible?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I guess.
Who they're going to get rid of? Sainz or Leclerc? They're going to get rid of Sainz in 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to get rid of Leclerc. He's like a 5-year deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, man. Good luck, Carlos. So, anything else, boys?
No, man. I actually just want to see the cars on track again.
Yeah,
so
next
testing.
week.
Listen, testing is not fun, but testing is always exciting because we haven't had racing for a long time.
Also, next week.
And just be glad that we don't have to wait like last year and wait so long in order for us to see cars on track.
We also got a ton more stuff to speak about, the next 5 teams. And that's also why,
Dude, I'm very excited for that. Because this is where it's going to get nice. Like the McLarens, the Alpines, the Aston Martins. Forget about the other two guys, Red Bull, Mercedes. Who cares about them?
Yeah, they're going to be one too.
So, guys, I'm going to start the closeout process. Obviously, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Sorry, you can find us on all podcast platforms. I was just distracted by
my bad.
How are you going to throw that at me? And all podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. You can find us there. Obviously, on Instagram and Twitter, we are at Jump to Start F1. On YouTube, if you're watching us, again, hello. And
we'll get better.
Yeah, we'll get better at this. But if you find us on YouTube, you can find us on YouTube at Jump to Start Racing Podcast. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, like us, etc. We'll be cutting this episode up, throwing out some clips throughout the week, obviously, so we could boil down to, I guess, the brass tacks. But again, podcast platforms, I'll do it for Yhancy: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you for doing that for me when you got distracted the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, guys. I'll throw it again now.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys later.
All right, guys. Bye.
Take care.
Hey, guys, this is Wellington from the Jump to Start Racing crew. Before we start, I want to make sure to tell you to destroy that like button and to make sure to hit subscribe to be up to date with our episodes and clips. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle on both platforms is at Jump the Start F1. See you there.